Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. What's up, Unbroken Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Michael Unbroken podcast. My goal and company is to give you the tools to help you understand your past, get out of the vortex, and become the hero of your own story. This podcast is sponsored by thinkunbroken.com, and you can check out my new book, Think Unbroken: Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma. This podcast is not a substitute for mental health care, but instead think of it more as a companion where we're here to support each other and to grow. Each episode of the Michael Unbroken podcast is less than 10 minutes, though sometimes that does not happen. So hang out with me, stay tuned. If you have questions, if you want to have conversations with me, or you have information you want to share, reach out to me directly on social media at Michael Unbroken, or you can email me at michael@thinkunbroken.com. Enjoy this episode, my friend, and until next time, be unbroken. Hey friends, today I want to talk to you about one of the most important facets of your healing journey, and that is personal boundaries. Now, we always talk about boundaries as a whole, right? Boundaries we set against people and places and things in our environment so that we protect ourselves. And it's very reasonable that we should do that. For most of us as trauma survivors, we have got to find a way to protect ourselves in the world. And that makes sense. We're never going to argue that. However, what about when you're not showing up for yourself? What about those moments when you wake up, you put your feet on your ground, and you go, not today? I might lose some people in this conversation, and I'm okay with that, but I want to be very clear about something. The way that I think about boundaries is really simple when it comes to personal boundaries, and that is, I always have to ask myself this question: what am I willing to do to have the results that I want in my life? And this, my friend, is a question that you need to ask yourself. What are you willing to do to have the life that you want? Often we talk about we're trying, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. But realistically, we're spinning in circles. Why? Because we haven't done a couple of the key elements required to go forward in life. One, we haven't acknowledged how we got to where we are right now. So one of the first things that you need to do is take an introspective look back at how you got to where you are now. Two, you need to game plan what it is that you want your future to look like. And I don't mean daydream this. Here's what I think people have to understand. These grandiose daydreams do not have to be that. They can be true. They can be reality. I often say that the person sitting here in front of you, this Michael, this is a caricature of the idea of the Michael that I wanted to be. And so I built that. But that started with me sitting down, taking out a piece of paper and writing exactly what it is that I want. And so I challenge you, go grab a piece of paper, hit pause right now. Okay, we're back. And so grab that piece of paper and I want you to write down a couple of headers. 1, personal health. 2, personal goals. 3, relationship health. 4, relationship goals. 5, career health. And 6, career goals. Then you're going to add hobbies and adventures. And underneath each one of these, I want you to write 3 to 5 bullet points about how you foresee those categories looking in your life over the course of the rest of your life. We are planning for down the road. Often we get stuck in this idea of tomorrow. What I want you to think about is how important it is to deploy patience against what it is that you want next in your life, right? And so now we're going to take these concepts that have been sitting in our head for a really long time, and we're going to write them down. There was a study done by Dominican Republic University that said people who wrote down their goals often hit them at 50% higher increased chances than people who didn't. So automatically, just by writing down what it is that is the life that you want to create, you have a 50% better chance of winning at life than you did before. That's a huge step, right? So we kind of looked at where we've gotten and how we got there. And now we're talking about goals and where we want to go. And the hard part about this is the hidden little secret of this. Now you have to do the work. And so you might be asking yourself, well, what does boundaries have to do with doing the work? What do personal boundaries have to do with any of these things? I'm going to keep it really simple for you. The only way that we get to the place that we want to go in life is by forcing ourselves there. Often we want to blame the world for things that happen in our life, both good and bad, right? We want to go, oh, this happened because of X, not recognizing that we have this amazing amount of control to create the future that we want, right? And so personal boundary comes into play here because what we are going to do is we are going to build out our life based on the goals that we want to have. And so how do you do this? How do you take a personal boundary and make it the catalyst for change in your life? The most important thing that you have to do as you start this is acknowledge that you are capable of doing this. People have told you for a really long time, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not capable. You have to get that out. You have to stop caring about what people who don't matter bring into your life. Because the people who do matter, I can assure you, they are there to support you. And if they aren't, you need to have some deep conversations with them. But that's another topic for another day. Okay, and so what you have to do is first eliminate these thoughts of people who want to come in and facilitate your own belief. You have got to tap into self-belief in a really intense way. And so how do you do that? That falls in line with boundaries, because by stepping ourselves into understanding things that make us uncomfortable, we learn and we grow. And so by both learning and growing, we start to get a better idea of who we are, and we find ourselves being appreciative of ourselves, right? We thank ourselves for the journey that we are on, moving towards what? The goals that we set, right? Just starting to make sense. And so now that we have these set goals and we have this idea of what boundary means and personal growth, how do you get there? Boundaries isn't just about saying, I'm going to do it. Boundaries is about executing against that. And some of your ideas may be really big. And so how do you get that in life, in relationship, in career, in hobbies, and adventure? You start at the top and then you reverse engineer back down to the first step. So for instance, for example, I want to feel good about myself in the morning when I wake up and I put my feet on the ground. That's the high level header overarching everything. How do I get there? I go all the way to the very bottom of the list of possibility and I say, step one. What does step one look like? Step one for you could be in numerous things. And that could be, okay, step one means I have to go to therapy. Step one, I go to the gym. Step one, I have to eat better. Step one, I have to sleep better. Step one could be any of these things, right? And so that becomes the beginning of it. And personal boundary comes back in around that step, because now you have to hold yourself accountable to doing that. Because realistically, step one is often only the beginning of a lot of steps that'll lead you to where you want to go. And so now you have personal boundaries come in, and you are going to force yourself, literally, you are going to force yourself to do the things that you know you have to do to get to where it is that you want to go in life. You are both culpable and accountable for everything that happens from this moment forward. And so personal boundary comes into play because what you are going to do is you're going to acknowledge the fact that you are capable of having the life that you want to have, as long as you make yourself do the work to get there. Guys, this is not easy. I'm going to be real with you. The hardest thing that you are ever going to do in your life is become the hero of your own story. And that starts with accountability and personal responsibility and boundaries and goals and having a direction. And on these days when it's hard, not beating yourself up. Because you know what? Maybe you're on step 4 of 400, right? And you are going to fall, you are going to teeter, and you have to get up, you have to go back towards it. Why? Because ultimately you are the only one who is going to get you to where you want to be. Even just listening to this will give you insight and direction of what to do, but realistically, the only way you're going to get there is by taking a really hard look at yourself and making a declaration that no matter what, I'm going to go forward. That's strength. There is strength in that. And I promise you, in these moments of being uncomfortable and in these moments when you're like, why am I still doing this? And why am I not getting the results that I want? You know what is going to happen? You're going to slowly build your worth and your value and your esteem, because you are going to keep getting up no matter what. Every single day, you are going to keep moving forward, even if it is just one step towards that goal of the life that you want to have. And you have to decide who's going to stop you. And nobody can stop you but you. I promise. There is always a way to work through it. So now you have these pillars, right, about how you move forward and how you set personal responsibility in your life. And I want to caution you, because a lot of people will take these ideas and concepts, write them down, create a game plan, block off time in their calendar, do 800 million things, and forget the most important core self-values, right? Make sure that you are taking care of yourself and staying aligned with your values as you move through this, because that is ultimately how you are going to get there. So I know I threw a lot at you. I want to share something else with you. If you're checking this out right now, you can sign up for the small group coaching sessions that I'm doing right now for Mondays with Michael. There is a link in the description. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast, you can go to linktree.com/MichaelUnbroken. I invite you to come and be a part of this as we share and go through small group coaching together. Of course, this is sponsored by thinkunbroken.com. You can check out all of the information about the book and coaching and life and all of those things. And I want to leave you with one thing here as we start to wrap up. Keep in mind that this journey doesn't really have a destination. Yes, we have goals, and yes, we write these things down, and yes, we move towards them, but it is always going to change and it is always going to evolve. Why? Because that is what life does, my friend. And in those moments, we adapt and we create change in our own life to continue to move forward. So take this information with you, go back, rewind the video, pause it, write down those headlines, put down those bullet points, get out that calendar, start moving forward, because ultimately, my friend, the only person that can do it is you. And until next time, be unbroken. I'll see ya. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.